Hello, Stephen White, Steve Arts 89. So here's sort of the second part of the video that I was originally planning. Now, the BBC released an article written by Stephen Kelly, who no one knows who he is, some writer, and they dared to question fans' position in franchises. Basically, they said Sonic set up a bad example of bowing to the fans. If you do what the fans want, apparently the inmates will be running the asylum and the industry will fall apart and the world will just, implode. Well, they're kind of wrong with that. Now, they made one good point about creativity, saying that if obviously things are made by a committee or fans, the audience are demanding and you're just doing what they want, then there's no room for creativity. That would be true if you're creating an original movie, an original franchise, an original product. Those things definitely should be created based on creativity, not on marketing data, not on studio notes, not on, dictation from the audience or whatever, from, screenings and tests and stuff like that. All that is just ridiculous. You need to have an idea, it needs to have an intention, it needs to have a purpose, meaning, some integrity, someone to keep that in check, and then if it finds an audience, then you keep to those rules and make it for that audience. That's how a franchise is successful. That's how shows like Star Trek existed. Now, they went way back into the history, which is true. Sir Arthur Conan Doyle killed Sherlock Holmes in 1893, and people got so upset and made such a fuss, he brought him back. So this is not the first time this has happened. In the 20s, people would write and say, we want this actor in better films, we want to see this actor in different films, and they would get actors better roles just because the studios knew, oh, these people. And it happened with Marilyn Monroe in the 40s as well. She was in a bunch of small films and had small roles, but people noticed her and made such a big deal, and she got so many fan letters. She got more fan letters than Clark Gable, that they started putting her in just anything they could, and eventually in better roles, and it paid off. I mean, my God, look where she's now. But a big part of that was fans. Sorry for my voice. And again, Star Trek. Star Trek was kept on air for season 2 and season 3 because fans wrote and said, we love this show, we want it, we have to have it. And then part of the reason Star Trek the Motion Picture was written was because the fans demanded it. It was made, they were making a TV series and they were making a TV movie, and they were making a TV series, they were going backwards and forwards because they knew they had to make something, the fans were demanding something, and they just didn't know, do we go and have a TV series or movie? And then Star Wars came out, they said, movie. So that's why they eventually went with Star Trek the Motion Picture. I want to acknowledge that. A lot of people think it was just because of Star Wars, like Star Wars happened and then they just ran and said, oh, we've got this Star Trek thing in the closet there, let's just pull that out. They had already been in development with TV movies and going backwards and forwards between TV series and TV's movie for years. So there's a long history of this. Now, if you're dealing with a franchise that's established, that has an audience, that are paying, that have invested time and love and commitment in this franchise, in these characters, in this subject, in this world, in this universe, what the fuck ever it is, you have to stick to that. You have to give them that, because that's what they're coming back for. That's what they came for. That's what they had before. That's what they want. Now, the argument some people have is that is predictable, it's stale, and the reason why some people love Last Jedi, is because it tried, and it has some merit on some artistic level, I guess. It tried to do something different. It tried to be a unique film, a change in direction within an established franchise. Well, that failed. That was an interesting idea, maybe in someone's head in a room somewhere, removed from the actual reality of the audience and the realities of the actual release and everything. But it didn't work. People wanted Star Wars. They wanted Luke Skywalker to be Luke Skywalker, not to be Jake Skywalker or what the fuck ever he was in that film. So this does not work. So yes, if you're creating a new franchise, you should be able to create in a vacuum and have integrity and maintain that. That's great. Individual independent films, same thing. No studio notes, no people saying, oh, it should be more like this film because that made $1 billion. No, that's all true. But it doesn't apply to established franchises with audiences because they are entitled. They have entitlement because they are entitled, because they have maintained and supported and loved and followed these franchises and these shows and these characters and these actors or whatever. So, no BBC. They're just saying this to defend. They have an agenda. They're just trying to defend Doctor Who because they have changed it so far from what it was and what it should be. And people are backlashing and abandoning it, and the ratings are going down the toilet, and it's being criticised because basically it seems, and I haven't watched any episode. I'm not going to lie. I'm just going from what other people are saying. That's why I haven't done a lot of Doctor Who videos. Basically, from my understanding what Doctor Who was, from what I've seen in the past, it's a sci-fi action adventure, whereas the new show, it's a political drama, and it's always on Earth, and they're just talking about Earth issues, and people are just, that's not what they tune in for Doctor Who for. There's other shows that do that and do it better. So they need to return to what they did. They can have a female doctor, we don't care, I don't care. But they need to actually have fun, have science fiction elements, go to new planets. Don't just be on Earth, every planet, preaching about how we should do something. Even though I agree with climate change and all these issues that they're promoting, the way they do it just undermines it and makes you want to go pat Trump on the back and say, go to that side, because they make it so intolerable to be on the right side. Ugh, so annoying. Okay, so, and another example of this now is Planet of the Apes. And I almost did a separate video about this, but I'm not going to. Planet of the Apes, they are rebooting it. Now, they did the original Planet of the Apes years ago, and the first film made, this is back in the day, I don't have Box Office Mojo, I don't pay for it, so I don't get all the comparisons and adjustments and all the fun stuff. I just get the basic crap. So the first film with Charlton Heston in '68 made $33 million. The second film made 18. The third film made 12. The fourth film made 10. The last film made 8 or 9. You're getting the picture. They just went down. The new films, the first one started at 180. People didn't quite like it. They came back for the second one. It made 146 million. The third one made 176 million, and the last one made 208 million because they were getting better. They were involving people in a franchise. People were investing. People were getting involved. Now they're going to reboot it, supposedly back to the original timeline. Because on some level, yes, fans are demanding original timelines, no reboots. We want continuity. We want things to continue. But they've already established a new one. Just stick with it. If it's working, stick with it. If it's failing, go back to the original. But this is not failing. So we can't seem to win. We have franchises like Star Trek and Doctor Who trashing themselves and digging their heels in and blaming the fans. And then we have franchises that did reboot and were working, abandoning it. Because basically what it comes down to is studios don't know what they're doing. They don't know what works. They don't know what fans want. They don't listen to fans. They make up their own decisions based on numbers and things because they don't have any creative anything. They can't make their own artistic decisions and hold to them. So they just go by committee and by tests and Twitter and articles and other people's opinions, and there's no center to a lot of these franchises. And that's what I said earlier. You don't just need to create a franchise with integrity and themes and everything. You need to have someone maintain it. Gene Roddenberry maintained Star Trek. He lost it. He got it back. He got sick. He died. He left someone in charge who maintained it for 18 years. That's why it was so great. Now we've got new people in who don't know what it is, and no one's in charge. It's going backwards and forwards, showrunners in and out, and it's a mess. Big issue. Lots of things being affected. Really simple. Stick to what works. Stick to the original. Stick to what the fans want. Stick to the franchise. Unless you're making something new, then you can do what the hell ever you want, and new fans won't know the difference because it's new. And same thing with sticking to the original. New fans are not going to know what came before. They're not going to be bothered. Old fans are going to respect it, appreciate it. God, I could go on a bit more, but I'm going to leave it here, partly because my voice is crapping out, and like Elton John, I need to just stop. Um, Thank you for listening this far. I'm probably going to talk about this again because this issue is not going away. Feel free to share, like, comment, and please just don't tell me about my voice. I can't help it. Thank you.